Hi, my name is Pam Nelson, and this is Weekly Wake Up. This week, I thought we would do a little bit with Ukatasana, which means chair pose. It means fierce pose also. So it can be a really strong standing pose for the legs, strengthening also the spine, ankles, some strength in the hips. So it's good for bone density. And I thought that we would start with a chair, and I've got 2 bolsters. You might just have one bolster or a few pillows depending on the chair you're using and your height. So this is a nice version because it's really quite supported. So you stand near the chair and you come to sit on the chair with your bolsters and keep your feet on the floor. If you can, feet together, or you can bring them about hip-width apart. Keep the feet parallel. So look at your feet, see that they're running parallel. Press into the heels and the toe mounds so you can lift your toes. So you don't want to be up, so high that your, feet are dangling. Okay? But it creates that kind of chair action. You can feel the sitting bones move down. And when you bring your hands to the side, you get that lift to the spine, the anterior spinal muscles, without just pushing the chest forward. So you can get that feeling of bringing the front ribs in, but at the same time lifting the whole rib cage up. And you can start to work your legs here and pushing into the floor, trying to bring the sitting bones down and actually engage the quadriceps, even though you're in a seated position. From there, we'll bring the arms in front. If you're working with any neck or shoulder issues, you might just stay here. Eye issues, high blood pressure, you're going to have to gauge what will be best for you. So you might stay here. Otherwise, we'll start to raise the arms up and down. So when you raise the arms up, it's not just kind of falling into the back, okay? We're still pressing down, activating the legs, lifting the spine, and it's really just the arms stretching, the spine, the side body does elongate. Feel the chest kind of increase as we breathe in and really expand the lungs into that space. And then you might go out a little bit at a diagonal with your arms, even bring them, shoulder in line with your shoulders, or maybe even you can go behind, okay? And repeat that a few times. Maybe you can go behind and hold here. Again, it's not leaning back or coming forward. We're maintaining that spine. Maybe then you can reach the backrest of your chair, roll the shoulder bones back further, lift the anterior spinal muscles up, and you feel that lower abdomen lift up and back. Roll the shoulders back more, maintain that. We'll bring the arms up. Ukatasana, and then release just for a moment. You can kind of shake out the legs. We'll bring the hands back to the sides. We're going to extend the arms, and this time bend the elbows. Keep the outer arm moving in, and then see if we can bring one arm on top of the other and wrap the forearms. Garudasana arms, eagle pose arms, same. Long back, spread it open in the upper back, and then we'll release. Try to the other side. Keep the eyes forward as if you were looking on either side of the arms. The elbows lifting, shoulders releasing down. The shoulders release down, but the sides still lift up. And then we'll release. We'll come up to standing. So now options from here. So you're working with what's best for you will be to keep the more height, or you start to remove some of that height, okay? So I'll kind of let you decide if you're going to start to remove that height. We're going to do one more option with the one bolster on the chair or pillow, and we're going to bring a block here in front, though, okay? So you might need to adjust your block a little bit. I'm going to come to sit down again. So now a little bit lower. Pressing still through the heels, through the toenails, using the arms to elongate through the spine. And then this time I'm going to extend one leg out. I'll just turn the block lengthwise, because what we'll do is we'll have that one leg out. I'm trying to almost lift up a little bit, but at the same time move the sitting bones down. So I'm actually using this bent knee to almost try to stand up, but actually I'm trying to bring the sitting bones down. So it's more work for that one leg. You can keep the hands on the chair, and then we'll try to lift and bring that leg, that heel up and down a few times. Maybe go right over. I'll come back and then see if we can extend the arms, maybe even up overhead, and the same. And maybe over. And then release for a moment. We'll see if we can increase that height of the block. So you may be feeling it, in the quadricep of that bent leg, the hamstring, and we're keeping the spine long. Hands again can be at the sides, on the hips, extending out parallel or up by the ears. Press down through the one foot as we extend the other leg up on that block. So it's almost that feeling of moving back a little bit. Lower abdomen moves up and back, along through the spine, really working that leg. And then see if we can lift up and lower. And maybe over. And then back and down. And then of course we'll repeat that to the other side. So I'll start with the one brick. Both knees start bent. Get that action, pressing down. Get a lower abdomen lifting up and back. So we're working core muscles, deep core stabilizing muscles, spinal muscles. The shoulders move back. Hands again on your bolster, on your hips, extending out, or maybe lifting up. And then we can extend that one leg. Quadriceps are working on both legs, but just a little differently. Maybe we can hop right over. And then back. And then we'll try with the 2 bricks. Sometimes you almost push back here a little bit. Push back a little bit. Stay lifted, throat soft, jaw and eyes relaxed. And maybe we can go over. And then back. Back to sitting. Stay for a few breaths. Okay. We'll come up to standing. You can shake out the legs there a little bit. And you can play around with this and, go a little bit lower. You could remove your second bolster and almost try to do something similar. But I'm going to remove the chair and just show another option. Just in case we don't always have a chair or you want to work without the chair, I just wanted to show a few variations, okay? So this next one will be at the wall, and we will include these bricks. And again, you can start with the lower height and then raise the height. Just to make so the video isn't too long, I'll go for this time, to the higher bricks. But we're going to start first now, bringing the sacrum to the wall, bending the knees. So the heels are, maybe, 1 foot away from the wall. Bending the knees, bring not the sitting bones into the wall, and not your whole back, or you could start though with your whole back. But just feel that sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine, press into the wall. So it's still that same feeling of almost moving up and back as we try to lower down. Really start to feel those quadriceps working. If you feel you need, you can move the feet a little bit further away, but we don't want to be, so far away that it's, more like sitting with the whole back at the wall, the feet go behind slightly, okay? So the knees do come over the toes a little bit in this pose. Moving the lower abdomen up and back, we can extend the arms up by the ears, in line with the shoulders. The hips are even at the wall if you feel you need. And it's not that we're completely pressed into the wall, okay? You can just hold here. We can really feel the legs working, the core working, the spinal muscles. If you feel you can, we'll bring that one foot up onto the block, and then we're lifting up and over. And then maybe hopping over. We'll come back and up. And I really feel that quadricep working, hamstring. We'll go to the other side. So the wall gives you some feedback that we're not just dropping back and hanging. Okay, there's that, again, movement up and back. We have the wall there giving us that feedback. It also helps to lengthen the lumbar area. Often in this pose, we jam in that lumbar sacral area. So it gives us a little bit of feedback that we can actually feel the lower back lengthen. Okay, so keep it long as you sit down, a little bit lower. You can bring the arms up without falling into the shoulders, your throat. Okay, keep the front ribs moving in, base of the sternum lifting up. And you might just hold here. Or maybe you feel you can extend the leg. So you have to adjust a little bit. And then up and over. With the foot that's on the floor, try not to grip with the toes. Press in the heel. Big toe mound, little toe mound, all those toe mounds. Maybe up and over. And then we'll come back to Tadasana. Shake out the legs a little bit. We'll move the blocks here just off of the mat. We'll just do one more little chair pose sequence here. We'll go from Tadasana to Ukatasana into Uttanasana. So that's mountain pose, into chair pose or fierce pose, and then into our standing forward bend. If the hands don't easily reach the floor, keep your blocks nearby. Okay? So from our mountain pose, hands can be on the hips, out in front, parallel to the floor, parallel to each other, or up by the ears, lengthening up, lower abdomen, moving up and back, sitting down, feel that length in the lower back. Sit as low as you can. From our Ukatasana, and bring the hands to the floor or blocks. Lift the hips up. First, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend, and then into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Hands to the floor or blocks. The feet can be slightly apart, a little bit wider apart. So the second time through, I'll bring the feet a little bit apart. We'll bend back. Actually, sorry, let's come back to our half forward bend. And then we'll bend up to our Ukatasana and then up into Tadasana. So again, if you needed, you could separate the feet a little bit apart. Tadasana, mountain pose, or the Hasta Tadasana. If you can, your palms can come together, but not just by bending the elbows. Then you lose, that connection to the spine, to the shoulders. You have to really lift up. From here, we'll bend the knees, Ukatasana. Come into Uttanasana. Come back, Ukatasana. Back up, Urdhva Namaskarasana. And then back into Tadasana. And you could repeat that any amount of times that you would like. So that is this week's weekly wake up. There's many more variations or things we could play with Ukatasana. So maybe we'll do those another week.